Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation.
Lisa Avila is a wife, mother, entrepreneur, Rotarian, and community activist. She sat down with our team to reflect on growing up in Forest Home Village in the Toledo District. Avila manages her family-owned business, Beya Suites, and she shared some of the plans for expansion of the business. We will have that conversation after we hear from our partners, the Barry, Belize Tourism Board, and Shell Belize Limited.
This no right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing a trash on the highway. We no fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that for we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Shell V Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Honduras, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more, pay less.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean?
We are at Beya Suites in Punta Gorda, Peine, Punta Gorda. And it's always a pleasure to be in Peine, Punta Gorda. And we always stay here at Beya Suites. But we need to get to know more about Beya Suites and its owner, Lisa Avila. I've known Lisa for many years, but I don't know everything about Lisa. So we're going to be finding out more about Lisa Avila and Beya Suites, her life in Punta Gorda. She's also an active Rotarian, that much I know. Very much active in Rotary. But let me just say, Lisa, thank you for agreeing to talk with me this morning. And let's get to know Lisa Avila. But Lisa, we want to start from the beginning. We want to start from young Lisa, where you were born, how you grew up, where you got to school, and everything. So we know Lisa Avila.
Okay. Good morning.
You hold the mic or you hold the mic, Phil?
So thanks for having me on your show as well. My name is Lisa Wadai, married Avila. I was born in Corozal. My mom was a nurse, so I was born all the way up north. But I grew up in Forest Home. That's my village where I grew up. That's 4 miles from town.
How did you move? Your family moved from Corozal to Forest Home. What caused that move?
My mom was a nurse, so she had me in Corozal. So I was brought back to Forest Home to be raised.
So originally you're from Forest Home. The roots are in Forest Home.
Yes, so my mom, as a nurse, they moved them around. So I was born there, and then I was brought here to be raised. But in Forest Home Village, so I went to school in Forest Home as well, Forest Home Methodist School. And high school, I went to Toledo Community College. Well, actually, I started St. Peter Claver High School, then Toledo Community College. So that's where I grew up, right here in Toledo.
Now let's look at your village Forest Home. Tell me what you know about the foundations of your village Forest Home.
So growing up in Forest Home, we didn't segregate with anybody from the town. It's just East Indian. It's an East Indian village, so we have several along the way. So we weren't allowed to come into town because of, I wouldn't say racism, but we weren't allowed to come to town because they didn't want us to mix with people from town. So because of the Confederates there in Forest Home, these are white people, so everybody there was considered white, and our skin color is black.
Can you recall anything about the Confederates while they were in Forest Home as a young girl growing up?
I can't recall much. All I knew was coming into town, we couldn't be speaking with anybody from the town because they considered them black. So we couldn't mix, like you said, we couldn't mix with anybody from the town because we follow the white people. That's how we grew up.
The Confederates, just for background, they lost the Civil War in the U.S. and they settled here in Belize, and they settled in the whole area for his home and so on, and they raised cattle, from what I can recall, and they would ship the cattle through cattle landing. That's the bit that I would recall, and that's why cattle landing is named cattle landing, because that's where the cattle would be embarked or disembarked, or however they were doing it, right? Then they suddenly packed up, from what I understand, and left and went to live, I think it is in Costa Rica, I'm not too sure, but they moved out of Belize. But there were up to 5,000 Confederates who moved to Belize, and a lot of them settled in southern Belize and in those villages. So I'm just giving a little background as to what you're talking about and why you might have had that behavior might have been prevalent at the time.
Well, I can say as well, where we have our cemetery in Forest Home, that's where they settled, and they built the Methodist church there where the cemetery is, and then they ended up transferring that church to the front, more to the highway. So the original church was done by them as well. So the Methodist church kind of started with them.
And on a little note of interest, we ended up burying Richard Merrill. People might remember Richard A. Merrill. Well, Richard A. Merrill's grave is in Forest Home in that Confederate cemetery.
Yeah, so that's where they settle. So where that cemetery is, there is the steps also from the church they built, because one of our members, he wanted to be buried on top of those steps. So that's where we had buried him, on top of the steps from the original church that was there in the cemetery.
Is that church still around, Lisa, in Forest Home?
No, they rebuilt the church. They rebuilt it because it was wooden. It was a wooden church.
I remember when Richard Merrill went to Forest Home and he asked about the cemetery. I think, as a matter of fact, he was the one that brought it back to life because it was just there, overgrown. And he claimed that he had some relatives that were buried there in Forest Home. And I could remember him like going all over the graves, looking at the different tombstones and what have you in your village, Forest Home. Yeah. It's an interesting background, though, that there was not that mix between the people here in town and Forest Home.
East Indian villages on a whole. East Indian village, we have Forest Home, Elridge, Jacinto village, and Kettle Landing as well. That's an East Indian village too.
But how did that change? Because it's not like that anymore. But how did that change?
I think for some of us, we rebelled, and we got out of that shell. Coming into town, coming to high school, that made a change for us, coming to high school.
So you did high school coming from Forest Home into Punta Gorda, and that changed the whole way of how you looked at things.
Yes. Then we got to know people in town, and they were no different from us.
Okay. And you got married to Darius Avila, my good friend. How did that come about? You went to school together?
No, we didn't go to school together. Actually, at the age of 18, I started work with Belize Bank.
Oh, yeah? Here in town?
No, in Belize City.
In Belize
At
City.
the age of 18, I worked in Belize City. I worked in San Pedro. I worked in San Ignacio. And I worked in Belmopan and Punta Gorda branches. So I worked 5 of the branches. And after working with all those branches, I came back home. And that's when I met Darius.
Okay. So how old were you when you met Darius, if I could ask?
I was 22 years old when I met Darius.
Okay. Already had that working experience, that banking experience, when you met him. And Darius, of course, is an accountant, as far as I know.
He's a consultant, yes, he is.
So you want to recollect the meeting, how you met? I know I'm getting maybe.
I met Darius at a dance, actually, at the Civic Center. We were having a September dance, and that's where I met him. But he went to school with my sister.
Okay.
Went to school with my sister, so I was a little acquainted with him, but not too much. And then after that, he started calling me at the bank, and that's how the relationship started.
And that's how many years ago now, Lisa? I mean, not that we're trying to establish your age, but more or less how many years since you've been together?
29 years.
29 years. And children?
We have two children. One is 28, two boys, 28 and 24 years old, Alice and Daryl.
Okay. Now, there have been many changes happening in Punta Gorda. That you moved from Forest Home to live in Punta Gorda after you got married, right?
Yes. I moved from Forest Home. Actually, from working with the bank, I moved into Punta Gorda with one of my cousins. And then from there, me and Darius started living together. Yeah, and then we got married. But I worked with the bank for 13 years. 13 years, and after 13 years, I said, I had to move on. It wasn't challenging for me to stay at one place for so long. So my husband, Darius, he has an accounting office, so I went to work with him. And it was just like working at the bank, because it's all figures, the same thing, and sitting down. And so I said, I need to do something different. So that's when we started Beya Suites. The property was for my granduncle. I purchased it for my granduncle. And we started with 5 rooms. After 3 years, the demand was there, so we ended up doubling our occupancy here at Beya Suites. And I really enjoy doing this, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, so you never did work for anybody else again after right?
No, I never worked for anybody else after that. So we have Beya Suites here this is the 17th year, completed the 17th year this November.
Beya Suites, right facing the sea in Punta Gorda. I like the sea. Whenever I get up in the morning, one of the first things I would do is to walk on your veranda and look at the sea and the Port Honduras marine area. And it's such a beautiful sight.
Especially like mornings like these. It's beautiful. The having one of the sea view rooms, you get all that view from there.
Now the word Beya, B-E-Y-A, because if you speak Spanish, I speak Spanish very well, but when you speak Spanish, you'll tend to think of the word Beya as B-E-L-L-A, beautiful. Suites, well, it's beautiful, but so it fits there. But the real meaning of the word Beya, the Garifuna word is B-E-Y-A.
Meaning beach, B-E-Y-A, meaning beach. The name came about by our cousin Vincent Palacio, Vincent Roy Palacio. Well, yeah. He gave the name of this place. He gave us the name of this place. He suggested the name, and we stuck with that.
Now, opening Beya Suites, how was it financing the operation and getting things together, looking at the challenges? Because almost right away you won the best little hotel of the year, if I can recall correctly.
Yes, actually we won the small hotel of the year 1 year after opening. 1 year after opening, because I travel a lot, Darius travel a lot, and here in Punta Gorda, we didn't have much of a luxurious type hotels. You have just the basic ones, so that's why I decided to open something a little more luxurious for Belizean travelers. We have a lot of Belizean travelers, especially the government, different departments, NGOs, Love FM. So that's the reason for us opening this hotel, and right away after 1 year we got small hotel of the year. It was it was amazing, we didn't expect it. We didn't expect it any at all, and hence the reason we try to keep up our standards, because for us we keep busy even during the COVID time. We closed only for a month, and I had guests like calling, "You need to open it. You're not sending me anywhere else," you know. So during the COVID time, we had a lot of Belizean travelers getting to know Punta Gorda as well. So hence the reason for us opening this type of hotel, for people to be more comfortable. And like I said, when I travel, I like to be very comfortable as well.
Now, Beya Suites has expanded over the years, like you said. You doubled your occupancy, which means you started with 5, you now have 10 rooms, right? What are some of the future plans you have for Beya Suites?
Our future plans, we have the sea in the front, we have the river exactly in the back. Our future plans is to open a restaurant right on the riverside in the back. That's a future plan. That's one of my dreams right now.
Your property extends right to the river, right? To the creek. Is it Joe Taylor Creek?
Joe Taylor Creek, yeah. So to put a restaurant right there, because most of we only do breakfast here, but our guests would want to do dinner and lunch as well, you know. So that's something we have in the plans. And having a restaurant by the river, that's an attraction by itself.
And the vegetation behind it is very rich on the river banks, because I've seen it, and it's very rich vegetation there, right? And you'll be looking at the famous Saddleback, right? Can you see Saddleback from behind there?
Yes, you can. All the way from the top as well. We have a rooftop. We used to occupy the rooftop, but we're at the point now of putting in solar panels. So we're putting in solar in the hotel. That's one of our projects right now. And but we have a huge rooftop. We can put another room up there as well.
Yes, and it's a beautiful rooftop, really. You could do so much with that, and go up another set of floors. Right. No, Beya Suites, fully active on the main street in Punta Gorda. Whenever I look out from your veranda, you know what I imagine? I imagine, and I ask myself, is there any hope of it ever happening? I imagine a beach, because you know the water comes almost up to it's a beach-looking area, but the water comes almost up to where the road is, right? I just imagine a wide beach stretching out in front with concessionary stands, umbrellas, and people just having fun and going into the sea and creating that nice atmosphere here in Punta Gorda. That's what I imagine when I look out, because it's so peaceful and it's so beautiful that something like that would attract a whole lot of people to come to this area. Do you see that ever happening here in PG? Has there been any talk about it?
I've tried with the BTIA. I've tried a lot, because all along here, coming in, you know, you have this long stretch, and the water here is very shallow. I keep pestering BTIA. We can do a beach in this area. We can do a beach, but it's like it's at a standstill. Keeps at a standstill, but it won't take much. But I think we will still try with the BTIA or BTB to do that beach along the way, because. Like same thing like what you said, I imagine it too, and it would be so beautiful. No. I that's still in my mind, but we'd have to go through like BTIA with that.
So many times, like I say, I stand on your veranda and I look and I say, man, imagine this beautiful beach here, you know, that you can walk up and down, because walking on the roadside isn't perhaps the best thing to do, you know, because a lot of vehicles pass in front here, you know. But walking on a beachfront, you know, stopping at different concessionary areas would be beautiful.
Another option we had was to, put a large wharf and like put a restaurant in that area as well. That's another option. That's another option. So you have a restaurant in the water.
That would pull a lot of people as well.
Oh yes, that would.
Now, living here in Punta Gorda, what would you say is the main attraction that would attract people to come here to PG?
The main attraction, well, we have the festivals, like the chocolate festivals. We have different festivals. You have the fish festivals. You have the Battle of the Drums in November. But people come here a lot to see the Maya ruins as well, for the waterfall, and the Mayan villages, that attracts them as well. And going to the Keys, going to Port Honduras. So that's what attract a lot of, even Belizeans come down here and they go to the Keys, they go fishing. We have a lot of fly fishing guys that come this way as well.
Now, looking at the development of Punta Gorda as a town, and you have lived here all your life, what are your reflections of how Punta Gorda has grown over the years? Because I see growth whenever I come, but I also see some neglected areas, and I'm sure they might be addressing it, but Punta Gorda is very historic. I can remember coming here and staying at the old government rest house. I don't know when I took that down, but I guess it was old and falling apart, you know. But so to talk to you about how have you seen the evolution of Punta Gorda?
The Punta Gorda has really changed. Well, like you said, in some areas not, but we have changed a lot. The population is more now. So we have businesses, what I noticed, we have businesses coming down this way to open up as well, which is very convenient for us. And but when it comes to like local businesses, we have a lot of Chinese businesses that come and open up. So it kills the local, small local shops, you know. But well, people still purchase from the Chinese because they're cheaper. The prices are much cheaper. But Punta Gorda has, spread out. When you go to certain areas in town, it's like there's not much space for people to live now. And I think first it only used to be like 3 or 4 streets. Now it's like way to the back. That's still part of town, you know. And still in this area where Beya Suites is, we have Hopeville. Everywhere now, you know, people are living, and people are looking to coming out of town as well, instead of living in town. But our streets, you know, that's something, you know, that's a challenge for us and our town council. But I know it's everywhere, so we can tolerate it a little, you know.
For me, Punta Gorda is one of the beautiful municipalities in our country, and I'm not looking at the streets or anything like that. I'm looking at Punta Gorda itself, the feeling of being here. I always feel comfortable being in Punta Gorda. I look forward for when I'm going to come to Punta Gorda. You know, my first visit to Punta Gorda was when I was 24 years old, when I came down to start the Radio Belize Correspondence Network. And I met Paul Mahong, and that was 40 odd years ago, well over 40 years ago, like 48 or something years ago, when I met Paul Mahong. And from then, I have always looked forward coming south to Punta Gorda.
Well, I can say now, Belizeans like from Belmopan, Belize City, when they come to Punta Gorda, it's fun for me. When they come, they said, "Miss, it's so peaceful here. We don't hear gunshots. And we can walk anywhere. Nobody interferes with us." Those are the kind of comments we get. And for me, it's funny because we're used to it here. We can still leave our doors open here, you know. We can still do that in certain areas here in Toledo.
Now, coming back to Beya Suites now, you offer tours. Can someone come here and book a tour, let's say, to the Port Honduras Marine area? Because that's another wonderful part of our country.
No, we don't. We're not a tour operator, but I work along with Tide Tours. I'm on the Tide Tours board, so I prefer to give all those type of businesses to our local tour guides and our tour operators.
So you don't do tours, but you refer people to tour operators.
I refer. We share the business. That's what we do.
When we come back, Avila speaks on the early challenges of the business. She is a founding member of the Rotary Club in Punta Gorda, and she shares some of the projects they have carried out over the years. Avila is also a cancer survivor She tells us more about her journey after we hear from our partners, the Barry, Belize Tourism Board, and Shell Belize Limited.
This no right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing a trash on the highway. We no fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that for we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Pay less.
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean?
We spoke, Lisa, about some of the changes that you have seen happen over the years, right? But walk me through them more in detail, the changes you have seen in the face of Punta Gorda over the years.
Okay, like I mentioned, going to high school,
You couldn't mix, right?
we started to mix. Even the Maya people from the villages, everybody started to mix after that. We had more coming to high school after that, like long after. So now the town is so mixed with everybody. It's a culture mix.
Yes, I know
now in Punta Gorda. So hence reason we don't have much space now in Punta Gorda, land space, because there is a section in Punta Gorda, just a section they call Indianville. And that was specifically for the Maya people, specifically for that. But then now in that area you have everybody living in that area, so it's a part of the town now, because that area they had allotted that just for the Maya people, but now everything has been expanded, so now everybody lives in that area, all around.
That's what I noticed in Punta Gorda. It's a rich melting pot of cultures, right? And all these cultures coexist together and peacefully, right? I noticed you'll have the Garifuna, because the Garifuna, this is home, Paine, right?
Garifuna, remember it was like a Garifuna town first.
Yes.
It was a Garifuna town originally.
Originally a Garifuna town, Paine, and that's what they call it, Paine, Punta Gorda. Paine actually means Punta Gorda. What's the meaning of the word Paine?
Paine, Punta Gorda.
Punta Gorda, right?
That's the Garifuna word for Punta
word for
Gorda.
Punta Gorda, Paine, right? And then you have the East Indians blending in with the Garifuna, right?
You have the Mayas.
Then the Mayas blending in with the East Indians and the Garifuna.
Then you have the Mestizo as well.
Blending in as well. So there's a whole rich blend here in this area.
What happened in high school, we had with Guatemalans coming in to learn English as well.
So they blend into, right?
So they blend into. Some of them, we had a lot of them come over to learn English.
Okay.
And some of them end up staying, have families, so we have that as well. And we have people from Honduras as well coming in this, because it's the border here. It's so easy to come this way from Honduras and Guatemala.
Yeah, because one of the things that I notice whenever I come here is that you can look and you can see the mountains right across. It's just a run right across, and you're bam in Puerto Barrios or some part of Guatemala, Rio Dulce, and then those areas. Yeah. And if you go a little bit more to the south, I think, or southeast, you will find Puerto Cortes,
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
In
It's
Honduras.
it's very easy for us to go to Livingston. It's only 25 minutes from here. To go to Puerto Barras is only 45, 50 minutes. And
there
to
are
go
boats
to
every day.
Puerto Curt, it is 4 boat runs for the day here. And we go to Honduras from here. It's so easy. It's so convenient to go to all the way to La Ceiba, Rotan from here.
It's just across. It's just right across, you know. And so that's why you have that heavy influence. But for me, the most important thing that I don't sense that the people here cling on to any other culture than the local Belizean culture, the Belizean flavor. I don't see any much Honduran customs. I don't see much Guatemalan customs. I just see everybody clinging on to what is the Belizean heritage. So everyone has blended in and quite well here in the Toledo District, from what I can see.
Oh, yes, because now you have, like, in the market, you have the Mayans cooking East Indian dishes. Everybody cooking East Indian dishes, Garifuna dishes, East Indian cooking Garifuna dishes, because I do Garifuna dishes as well. And so it's just a mix. Everything is mixed. So I keep saying, we're the culture capital here in Punta Gorda.
A lot of mix. I'm looking right now through the window. I can see some of your employees. Talk to me about your employees here at Beya Suites, because you have, I see East Indians, I see Mayans.
I have East Indian, I have Mayas, I have interns. I always have interns.
I see the blends.
Yes, but my employees are mixed. My employees are quite mixed. I always have a mix of employees.
So, and everybody look like they're active and happy. When I come to Beya Suites, you're greeted with a lot of smiles, you know, here at Beya Suites. So let me congratulate you on the great job you have done in putting Beya Suites together.
Thank you very much. We try to upkeep our services and try to make everybody happy and make everybody feel at home as well. That's our goal.
But to get where you are today, Lisa, there have been multiple challenges, because, you know, as a businessman myself, I started my business and there were a lot of challenges when I started. You know, ups and downs. You fall down, you get up. You try to turn things around. This don't work this way, you go this way, and that kind of thing, until you get it just correct. Talk to me about some of the early challenges you had as you left the bank and embarked on creating your own business, Beya Suites.
Okay, the building itself was just a little bungalow, so, you know, we built on top of the building. We expanded everywhere we can, and when we started, everybody has a price list. So we had a price list. It wasn't, we did a price list. We compared with other Belizean hotels. And so we did a price list. And actually, for some Belizeans, they wanted to stay, but, you know, some of them couldn't afford it. So we offered, like, discounts. And actually, I end up getting, like, discount cards for certain Belizeans. And what we do, we have an off-season rate. We have an off-season rate between June and October to accommodate Belizeans as well. But we do offer discounts, you know, now and then.
Well, this type of hotel at the time you started did not really take off just like the wind, right? Until you won the best little hotel of the year, I think the following year, right? Well, yeah, you say that to me is where that pushed you, but that pushed you.
Yes, we really worked hard in with the services. You know, we try to push out services. We try to look at things that people would like. You know, so that's why we started with the breakfast, because when you get up, you want to have breakfast where you're staying. That's what most people would want. So, because we didn't offer breakfast then, and then most people were asking for breakfast, so that's how we incorporated the breakfast as well.
I'll have my breakfast in a few as soon as we done talk. We spoke about the challenges you had, about the early beginnings of Beya Suites. We spoke about the services here at Beya Suites, right? And we spoke about the feel on a whole here at Beya Suites, you know, in beautiful Peine, Punta Gorda. Now, Lisa, I know Darius is very active in the community. I mean, especially through the Battle of the Drum Secretariat and other things that he does, right? And I know you will follow suit. You follow suit with him because you assist him in everything that he does. That much I know, right? But you as well, I know you as a Rotarian, a fellow Rotarian, right? Because I'm also a Rotarian, right? Talk to me about your community involvement now.
My community involvement as a Rotarian, I'm one of the co-founders of Rotary Club here in Punta Gorda, one of the co-founder. So I'm still with Rotary. We started with 24 persons, and out of that 24, we only have 2 of us remaining from the start.
The founding members. What year was the Rotary Club Punta Gorda founded? Remind me, please.
May 2008.
2008.
May 2008. So the reason why I stay in Rotary is because I like to help the community, and we do a lot of community work in the entire Toledo District as a Rotarian. We do a lot of projects. As well, Beya Suites is still a part of Battle of the Drums as well. So we here at Beya Suites we assist a lot with Battle of the Drums, with accommodations and different types of getting stuff together as well with my husband. And for us here, we work a lot with the community, assisting with different projects the town council would have. And they would approach us and ask if we would like to partner in. So that we do a lot. We partner in with maybe help fixing a street, and other stuff the town council would, because they always approach us, the town council. They always need assistance from the business community. They always need assistance from the business. And I always have ideas, so that's why they always reach out to me as well. And paying taxes and all of these stuff, I do it in advance so it can help their employees, for this December, I pay my taxes in advance. So the employees, everybody can benefit for the Christmas holiday.
That's important, I like the part that you said that you pay your taxes in advance, and you are conscientious enough to know that if, as business owners, we would pay our taxes in advance, especially around Christmas time, it helps the employees. And I like the rationale that you did. That you're really thinking of others, because it's a small community, and every little bit counts.
Oh yes, every little bit counts. And in December, the employees, everybody wants to enjoy Christmas. As part of Rotary, we we usually give an award or so. So we gave an award as Rotary. We gave an award to all the garbage collectors, because if they don't pick up your garbage, that's an essential. That's very essential. So we gave them an award. Because those garbage collectors are very important. Yeah. So we gave them an award 1 year.
That is good, thinking of the garbage collectors, because too often we don't think of them, and we just take the work that they do for granted. But imagine if you never have garbage collection, what would happen? My goodness. Yeah. Could you imagine your business without the garbage collectors?
The whole of town really garbage everywhere. So we see that as a very, very important part of helping the town as well.
What are some of the other projects that the Rotary Club of Punta Gorda would do?
Right now we're doing a 10-year women empowerment project in 4 villages in the Toledo District. So we're doing that. We do a lot of small projects like literacy. That's that's something we really want to touch on, the literacy project, because a lot of.
How do you do? What form does that take?
We get in a lot of books. We help the libraries, develop libraries in all the schools in all the villages. We give them books for their library for their children, because I remember when I went on a talk show we started the pilot project like in 4 villages, and people were calling from all the villages way in the back. They don't have TV, so they were like, when are you coming to bring books for us? The children need books. So we ended up just having all the principals come and collect the books for their library in schools. But we had started a project also where every month we go out and give books to like 1 to 5-year-old. Every month we had four communities we did that to. For the children itself to build their own library as well. But we do water projects, we do everything here. From the time our club started, we have been working on so many projects.
I can recall working on a project with the Rotary Club here on this water project, and that brought me back to memory where we had these buckets and we purified the water and showed people how to purify the water. And I can remember working with the Rotary Club of Punta Gorda on that project. I guess that made quite an impact. You did it?
Oh yes, it did, because all the villages. So you go to the schools, you'll see a Rotary bucket. You'll see the Rotary bucket. Because we did a water project, a solar water system, all the way in Graham Creek, which is only accessible by foot. You walk like 6 miles. And they had horses that would take the materials in, and when you go there, you have a camp out for a week. So we did projects all the way in that village, Graham Creek Village.
Very good. That shows the extent of the work that Rotary does. Besides being a Rotarian and a community activist and being active in your community and supportive in your community, I know you serve on other boards that also do good work here in the Toledo District.
Yes, I serve on, I'm on Tide Tours Board because of the tourism sector. And I work along closely with BTIA. I don't have a post, but I was like treasurer and different posts in BTIA. And as well, my church, I am the main steward of my church. So I do all the finances, I do all the payments, I do like everything for my church as well. So all of that I do. And as well, my husband business, he has a office in town, business information services and systems. So I'm the one that manages that as well.
How do you see yourself amongst all that? Lisa, a Rotarian, businesswoman, hotel operator, office manager. What's a typical day like?
Well, I balance out everything. I am a breast cancer survivor, so I think after that, I just learned to balance out everything. I don't work all day. I'm at home in the morning, come to work in the afternoon, and do what I have to do at my desk. So I just balance out everything.
It means that you have good employees. You've attracted good employees because when you really set systems in place and things can run almost on their own because the employees then can just move forward, and all you do is just come and supervise and make sure everything is okay.
Oh yes, I've always had good employees. We work as a team. Right? Yes, I train them. We work as a team. I have employees here at Beya Suites that is still with us from we started.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's the best kind.
So we work as a team. We help one another, and I won't say I'm not harsh with them, but we work a lot together, and I train them well.
Like we said, you're a breast cancer survivor. There might be someone out there who is battling with breast cancer or any form of cancer for that matter. What would you tell them? Maybe and feel free to share your story if you wish.
I keep telling people, to be positive, very positive. And don't look at it as a death sentence, and keep up your diet. Our Belizeans, they want to eat this lot of flour, this lot of rice. We have to eat more vegetables. And we can grow these right in our yard. Eating greens every day helps a lot. I do that every day, and I keep telling people I'm not sick. I eat my greens every day, and I keep up my diet. So I feel good every day.
So how was it for you when you found out that you were diagnosed with breast cancer? How did you cope with that news?
Actually, when I got the news, I was at a church conference. I remember going to the doctor in Belize, and she said, "Oh, it's malignant." And I went back to my conference, and I was like, "Oh, I deal with that after my conference." But I was positive. I wasn't frightened any at all, and I just said, "I'll do what I have to do." And I did all my treatments, 1 year of treatments, and doing all the treatments, there's a 100% possibility that you won't get cured, but you will be okay. You just be in remission. But if you don't do all the treatments, it's likely it would come back for you.
And you're okay now?
Oh, yes, I am okay. I do my tests every 6 months. I'm okay.
But Lisa, the most important thing here is a positive mindset, isn't it? Because our mind is so important. And too often we don't understand how important it is to have that positive mindset, which you said that you had, or you have, right? So maybe you could just expand on that a little bit, how important it is to always keep a positive mindset in all we do.
Yes, being positive. Like I said, I could say I'm a Christian as well. I'm a Christian, so I do my devotions every day. I read my Bible. I go to church regularly. I conduct services. I do a lot of stuff in my church. So that keeps me very positive. It keeps me very, very positive. So everything, every day, when there's a problem, I know along the way I just pray and I said, there's a solution. And the solution just pops up. Going through my treatments, it was like whenever something, I remember the chemotherapy, those were harsh. But I just prayed and like all the pain goes away. All the pain goes away. So the nurses at the cancer center, I remember, I go there, I take something for everybody. Whenever I go, they were like so happy to see me every time I go. And I was happy to see them as well, but I could do a lot of counseling with patients still. So I help a lot of patients here as well.
Excellent. Oh, that experience has really inspired you to appreciate more what you do.
Yes, and makes you appreciate life more as well. Every day you get up, you thank God for seeing a new day. So rain or shine, sunshine, I thank God every day, despite the weather. Despite the weather.
We will wrap up our conversation with Lisa Avila as she speaks about her family life and her method of parenting. Maintaining a positive outlook on life is key to her success. She tells us more when we come back from this break. We step aside to hear from our partners, the Barry, Belize Tourism Board, and Shell Belize Limited.
This no right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing a trash on the highway. We not fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
It don't matter what part of the jewelry come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean?
Lisa, earlier on you told me you have 2 sons, right? Which means that you are a proud parent, right? Talk to me about your family life and raising your children in here in Punta Gorda, and you know how did all that fit together with being that businesswoman and there's a busy business schedule?
Well, I have two sons, but when I had my children, I was working at the bank. The bank's job is very demanding. So I had the assistance of my husband. He helped a lot when they were much younger. But I had a schedule for my sons, wake up time to bedtime. Every day they had a schedule. From 4 years old, they had their schedule.
Written out? Like
Yes,
a written schedule?
out, a written schedule. That's how I used to control them.
Okay.
So, and Darius was very strict. He's a very strict father, so he assisted a lot with keeping that schedule up, keeping that routine schedule going.
If I could understand the schedule that you're talking about, you would say, at this time, 7 o'clock, you get up. At 8 o'clock, you should be having this. At 9 o'clock, you should be doing that. At 10 o'clock, you should be in school. That kind of thing there?
Yes, that kind of thing. 6 a.m. is wake up time, 7 is breakfast, and then in the night, 7 is reading, 7 to 8 is reading, and 8 p.m. is bedtime. So my children weren't on the street at night any at all. Up to now, they have that age, they're not on the streets any at all in the night. And so, as well, I taught them how to iron their clothes, to do the dishes, spreading their beds at an early age. So from 12 years old, my boys were out of the house, going to St. John's College in Belize, and they could have lived on their own. So they were out of the house from 12, and so they left from a very early age,
What are they doing today?
My older son, Darlis, is studying for his CPA and his master's. And my younger son, he just finished his bachelor's in environmental science from Canada. So he's busy doing a lot of community work with volleyball, and as well finishing his bachelor's in environmental science. He's a national coordinator here in Belize for the Commonwealth, the climate change Commonwealth. So he just started a job with the forestry department. So they have been busy helping the community as well. My younger son, he just got 2 volleyball scholarship for 2 youths here in Punta Gorda as well.
Excellent. So that mom's influence and, well, your parents' influence, because I know Darius is also a disciplinarian, he's also a businessman, he's also a visionary, you know, because I speak to Darius from time to time, and he always has a vision as to where he wants to go and where things should be and the way how to do things. And it seems to me that everything he organizes seems to meet that success.
And as a family, I take my children to church every Sunday. After church, it's a family meeting every Sunday. We pick a topic, we discuss a topic every Sunday. But we keep telling them, be a leader, not a follower. Be a leader, not a follower. So that's...
Maybe you could talk to about the importance of keeping the family together and doing exactly as you're saying, keeping that family close, networked, and with that interest in moving forward.
Yes, that's how we kept our family together. We have, like I said, we have meetings, we discuss topics, we always eat together. We discuss everything together. We discuss everything. And we have, my children always had friends over. So we had the friends, when they had the friends over, we would speak to them as well. So they have friends from primary school up to now. They have the same friends. And the friends know our style, so they all of them, get together and work together and do what they can together.
That's important, because family life is important, and it sets a good foundation for the children, and then the grandchildren see the results of a good family life and togetherness, and the family working as one unit.
Oh yes, and as I have to mention that after my treatments, I did a lot of testimonies as well. I would go around and do a lot of testimonies regarding the cancer and talk with a lot of people in church and out of church. Like when we have cancer walk, I would give a talk. In high school, I used to give a talk as well. So I used to, and up to now, doing the counseling, I would help a lot with these things, because a lot of young girls, don't take care of their bodies, and so I would explain a lot of things to them as well, and so that's why I help a lot in the community with that as well.
Lisa, in talking to you, I can see you keep a very positive attitude in everything you do, right? Because as Rotarians, we stay positive, right? As a business person, you are very positive. You have created your own businesses. You have created your family. You have been very successful, right? Now, let us talk about the importance of always being positive in the things you do, as against going the other route, which is the lead word negative. Not say that right now, right? Let's talk about the positivity.
Okay, for me, God is always first in my life. That's the reason for my positivity. When I read my devotions in the morning, I mean, man, it's so wonderful. It's so inspiring. So for the day, my day runs really well, starting my devotions in the morning. And for Rotary, service above self.
That's right.
That's our motto. So we try to do as much as we can, especially in our community as well. So, and in my business here at Beya Suites, I try to assist. If a guest comes in, they go fishing, they bring in some fish, they want to eat some fish. We go and we scrape that fish, clean it, make some turtles for them, and that's what makes them happy. So we want them to be happy and always come back. So for the business part, we try to make everybody happy, everybody satisfied, so they can come back, and we always have guests coming back. That keeps us busy here at Beya Suites.
And that will coming back, I guess I'm one of those, because I keep coming here whenever I'm in PG. Most of the time, I'm here at Beya Suites. I stay here at Beya Suites, right? So I want to thank you for the services and for making all of us feel at home when we come here.
It's always a pleasure to have you all as well, staying with us over and over and over. We have some guests that if I don't have rooms, they don't come. They would change their dates and come another time.
That's the way it is when you stay positive, right? It's important to always be positive. Yes. I keep saying that we got two roads that we can go down, right? Positive or negative. The negative road, of course, takes you nowhere, but it's very wide, And biblically, in my mind, that's what was meant when it says, wide is the road that leads nowhere to destruction, and narrow is the path that leads to heaven, yes. Whatever version of heaven you might want to have, right? But I would say success in this case, right? The negative road, which is very, very wide and easy to travel, because it's easy to be negative, takes you nowhere. That's why it's wide. You go one side to the next, you go nowhere, right? But staying positive, and staying on that narrow path of positivity will take you somewhere. It's like energy, right? Negative energy in an electric wire, the negative side of it does nothing, right? It wouldn't, but the positive moves you forward. But then there's this I always talk about this problem that we have with electricity, where you need the negative and the positive to go together. But only the positive have the electricity, and the negative is just there dead, right? So there are times in your life when you might want to lean to being negative, but you have to move towards the positive part of it. And seemingly you have done that very well, remaining positive.
Everybody experiences challenges in their life, Everybody experiences. It's the way how you deal with it. It is the way how you if you have all the support when you come to a challenge, if you have all the support, which I did when I had my breast cancer diagnosis. I had so many support men, it was overwhelming, very overwhelming. So, and not everybody has that. Not everybody has it. But, as a person, they see you as that type of person, so you get all that support. But if you're a negative person, nobody would want to approach you or that kind of stuff, and work with you and so on. Like I always say in the business, if somebody comes with a miserable face to you, you don't approach them back with that same, you try to lighten up their day, and that would make a change for them, because maybe somebody here heard a bad news and they're just depressed. So you come to them with positivity, it changes that for them.
Because that negative feeling is so easy to expand on. And the more we expand on it, the more obstacles we see. It don't happen because of this. It don't happen because of that. This won't happen because of the next, right? But your story has proven that once you look at things in a positive way, once you look at things straight up and you move towards them, instead of just sitting there, you can attain miracles, right? And become a survivor, like us.
Yeah, like what you said, miracle. I keep saying that I'm a miracle child. I keep saying that. I keep saying I'm God's only child because I get all the attention, I get healed, I get all the blessings. That's how I feel, actually.
Well, it's like what the Bible tells you to believe. And you got to believe without a shadow of a doubt.
I'm a believer. Yes. I'm a believer.
And that's where the narrow road is.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a believer. When I pray, whenever challenges come my way, I just pray and leave it to God, and everything solves out itself during the course of the day. That's what I experience every time.
Now, in closing here, and I want to thank you so much for talking with Melissa and for agreeing to do this show. What would be your message? I know it came across loud and clear just now, but I want you to repeat and condense what would be your message to who may be listening to you right now and saying, I wonder what I'll do next.
Okay. I always try to tell, especially youths, keep active. Keep active. They can help out in the community. They can help out in anything. Once you get yourself involved, it opens up your focus area. It opens up everything, and especially here in Toledo, a lot of our youths aren't exposed. That's a problem here in Toledo. So I keep telling them, get involved and, follow good friends and keep positive. But as youths, you take the wrong path. And look at probably older folks that you can follow, role models. And that's for me. I look at my friends are kind of like older folks because I learn from them, learn from their experience, and I talk with them and I ask questions. But be positive and have a goal in life. Always have a goal in life. And work towards that goal.
And that goal just won't drop out of the sky. It takes work. It takes sacrifice sometimes to reach to the goal. And where do you find that goal?
Where do you find that goal?
Where do you find the goal that you want to have in life? Inside of you, right?
Yes, inside of you, yes. You have to make that come out and do all you can to have that goal accomplished.
Yes.
Do all you can. That's what we tell our children, they have to push there. There will be challenges and, sometimes they get depressed. But I tell them, you just pray and everything works out.
Yes. I look at it like we all have this little light inside of us. And it all depends what we do with the light. If we'll throw some water and out it, or if we'll encourage that light to shine and come forward, right, and concentrate on it. And you're a positive model that, yes, it can happen.
Yes, that's one of the things I would say when I would have my speeches. I always say I want to be that light to shine for others. That's something I always say. I want to be that light to shine for others and for others to see the light in me as well.
And, our show is, of course, done with a lot of love, right? because love is what makes everything we spoke about just now. You have two roads you can go down, the positive and the negative. Love, of course, is positive, right? Hate is negative, so we need not talk about that, right? Love is positive, and we choose to go down the road of love. And we encourage you to go down that road, the road of love. Love for yourself, love for God. Because when you love God, you find the love for yourself, you know. So you love God. You agree with me, Lisa? You have to get the love of God. Then you find the love for yourself, right? And then you love others as you love yourself. And that is how it's placed, right? You never say more than yourself. It said as yourself. So that means it stands to reason that you find the love of God, the love for yourself, and then you can spread that love to your country, to your people around you, to your family, to your friends. You know, once you love yourself, you radiate. Am I right in that, Miss Lisa?
Yes, you are. Yes, love passes on.
Yes, exactly. And because it passes on, you know what we usually say? Belize and beyond. Thanks for choosing love. Have a great time. Whether it's morning, evening, or night, just enjoy. Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what?